Hello, welcome once again to Colonel O'Truth's miniature issues and the continuing build of Undercrag, a 10mm scale fantasy city. In the last episode, I was adding colour to the walls of the caves. Green mosses and blue and pink shimmering minerals. Now it's time to add a little more detail. As with the rest of the city in the outside world, inside the caves I want lots and lots of little details, quirky little things everywhere you look. If you've been following along, you'll have seen a couple of episodes ago that I installed a door into a subterranean temple. This left a bit of a shelf in the cave wall up above, and I've decided rather than just make that stone, I'm going to put a little building facade in. Whatever this building may be, it doesn't have access from these caves, suggesting more activity deeper inside the mountain. I'm starting this with a simple piece of cardboard, cutting out windows and doors, and basically just creating a frontage. There's no side wall here. I can afford to work quickly and just do this by eye. The timber framing I'm going to add later will tidy up any rough edges. Now for some balsa wood. I'm measuring out 2mm strips. I'll do quite a few of these at once. That should do for now. Now just a little bit more detail to the structure. I've decided I want a little overhang in the manner of Tudor-style buildings. So this is a thin strip of 5mm thick foam board. This gives me that extra little bit of detail and gives me somewhere to continue the cave wall above the building. Cutting some strips to length. And the details start to go on. The main horizontals first. Here we go with the PVA. As I've mentioned before, make sure you're using good quality PVA, not school glue, not cheap stuff. Go to a hardware store, get builder's wood glue. I've been using a brand of builder's wood glue marketed as fast drying, and I have to say it's pretty amazing. It's really speeded up the whole process of building Undercrag. There we go with all my verticals. Now it's time for some smaller horizontal details, starting with the window frames. Now some extra timbering to create the panelling effect. And not forgetting the tiny gaps. A little bit of extra detailing, some windowsills. This piece will be seen from the side, so details like that are useful. And drawing some planks into a small piece of balsa. And this will become the door. Not forgetting to leave a small gap underneath the door that my LED light can escape through. Now to reinforce the roof with matchsticks. There we go, the basics are done. But I've decided I want more of an overhang above the building. It wants to look as if it's sitting right within the cave wall. So I'm cutting more foam board. Same width as the rest of the model. I'm creating a rocky outcrop. Just stick that on the front of everything else I've been doing. I try to let myself remain open to changes as my ideas develop along with the model. Very little about Undercrag has been planned. Anyway, this'll look better, I think. Now it's time for a base. I'm marking out a line for the building front to sit against. I'm removing the back corners so that they don't get in the way when I try and install this into the model. They're not important. Some pieces for reinforcement later. And now I'm shaping this card to more or less fit in with the shelf it's sitting on in the cave wall. This will minimize the fuss later on when I need to install this into the main model. There's a bit of reinforcement, plenty of glue, and on we go. Careful when cutting towards your hands like this, or rather, don't do it at all. So now I have a tapered rock roof. Or the beginnings of one anyway. And now my matchsticks don't look right. So it's time to replace them. Now to reinforce my reinforcings. More matchsticks, cut at angles, and glued into place. The pointy stick is earning its keep today. Just a little bit of tweaking. I've decided I want some paving outside the building, on what will become the balcony. very roughly cutting a piece of 5mm foam board and then taking a slice from it. Just enough to draw some paving in with an HB pencil. All the roads and stonework in the entire city have been done like this. At first it was intimidating. Now it's just something I do. Good daubing of PVA again. And in we go. And more matchsticks. I'm slicing the corners off these to round them. Now where should I begin? There's the first fence post. Working my way around and adding thin balsa strips as a handrail. It's pretty fiddly stuff. I want this handrail to follow the curve, which is irregular, rather than just be a straight line across the front of the building. It's okay if it looks a little bit wonky. This is a house inside a cave. It's not likely to be perfect. And when everything's dry, it's time to start painting. Like almost every other piece, I'm starting with a light grey undercoat. This doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, if it's a little patchy, it often looks better. I find with model making there's always a stage where things look rather messy and you wonder if you've ruined them. With the grey paint dry, I'm daubing the whole building with brown ink. When you're using inks, make sure you get good ones. Very cheap inks will tend not to be colour fast. I like to encourage model making on a strict budget, but this is one area where it's worth spending a little bit of money. With the brown dry, a light yellow dry brushing. Fairly generous. And follow that with some white, making sure to get plenty into the panels. And now more brown. This is the careful part, picking out the timbering. I start with the front faces, but make sure I get down the edges as well. I really enjoy this bit. It all starts to come together. Looking good. Now for some tiny pieces of very thin black card. Adding some door hardware. Little bit of silver paint. I'm not giving a perfect thorough coat. And now I'm going to put in some window glass. This is acetate that I've painted on both sides with Mod Podge. I've left it deliberately obscured to disguise the LED lights inside the buildings, but to catch the light and glow. In we go. Now let's work on this stonework. Some Das clay. sculpting this with a paintbrush with PVA. PVA keeps it malleable, prevents it from cracking, which I've talked about before. Carefully obscuring the edge there. And then a dark grey undercoat. I'm not even waiting for the clay to dry here. Painting the rock roof right up to the building. I'm trying to be careful, but mistakes can be fixed later if necessary. When that's dry, light grey dry brushing. And the fiddly bit inside the handrail. White over the light grey. It all looks very bright, but the ink washes I'm going to use will darken it off. And I think it's time to add that to the rest of the model. There's my light box. And in this case, I'm going to use super glue to add this in. I want an immediate bond. PVA is great, but it takes a while sometimes. In we go. Bit of a lighting test there. And let's sculpt it into the rest of the cave walls. Plenty of PVA. And more DAS clay. Just adding small blobs, which can be sculpted later. Again, a brush with PVA. Once I'm done here, I'll paint it the same way as the rest of the rock walls and move on to the next part. There we are. Very simple piece, but very effective. Mysterious little building high up in the cave wall. In the next episode, stalactites and stalagmites. Until then, bye for now.